Second variety, page 52. Klaus grunted angrily. That's enough. Well, what next? Hendricks paced back and forth around the small room. The air was full of smells of food and perspiration. The others watched him. Presently, Tasso pushed through the curtain into the other room. I'm going to take a nap. The curtain closed behind her. Rudy and Klaus sat down at the table, still watching Hendricks. Es ist up to you, Klaus said. We don't know your situation. Hendricks nodded. It's a problem. Rudy drank some coffee, filling his cup from a rusty pot. We're safe here for a while, but we can't stay here forever. Not enough food or supplies. But if we go outside... If we go outside, they'll get us. Or probably they'll get us. We couldn't go very far. How far is your command bunker, Major? 3 or 4 miles. We might make it. The 4 of us. 4 of us could, which else says they couldn't slip up behind us and start taking us. We have free rifles, free blast rifles. Tasso can have my pistol. Rudy tapped his belt. In the Soviet army, we didn't have shoes always, but we had guns. With all 4 of us armed, one of us might get to your command bunker. Preferably you, Major. Was if they're already there? Rudy shrugged. Well, then we come back here. Hendricks stopped pacing. What do you think the chances are they're already in the American lines? Hard to say. Fairly good. They're organized. They know exactly what they're doing. Once they start, they go like herd of locusts. They have to keep moving. Und fest, es ist secrecy. Und spät, they depend on. Surprise. They push their way in before anyone has any idea. I see, Hendricks murmured. From the other room, Tasso stirred. Miege. Hendricks pushed the curtain back. What? Tasso looked up at him lazily from the cot. Have you any more American cigarettes left? Hendricks went into the room and sat down across from her on a wooden stool. He felt his pockets. No, all gone. Too bad. What nationality are you? Hendricks asked after a while. Russian. How did you get here? Here? This used to be France. This was part of Normandy. Did you come with the Soviet army? Why? Just curious. He studied her. She had taken off her coat, tossing it over the end of the cot. She was young, about 20, slim. Her long hair stretched out over the pillow. She was staring at him silently, her eyes dark and large. "What's on your mind?" Tasso said. "Nothing." "How old are you?" 18. She continued to watch him, unblinking, her arms behind her head. She had on Russian army pants and shirt, grey-green, thick leather belt with counter and cartridges, medicine kit. "You're in the Soviet army?" "No." "Where did you get the uniform?" She shrugged. "It was given to me," she told him. How old were you when you came here?" 16. "That young?" Her eyes narrowed. "What do you mean?" Hendricks rubbed his jaw. "Your life would have been a lot different if there had been no war." 16? You came here at 16 to live this way? "I had to survive." "I'm not moralizing." "Your life would have been different too," Tasso murmured. She reached down and unfastened one of her boots. She kicked the boot off onto the floor. "Miguel, do you want to go in the other room? I'm sleepy." "It's going to be a problem, the four of us here. It's going to be hard to live in these quarters. Are they just the 2 rooms?" "Yes." "How big was the cellar originally? Was it larger than this? Are there other rooms filled up with debris? We might be able to open one of them." "Perhaps. I really don't know." Tasso loosened her belt. She made herself comfortable on the cot, unbuttoning her shirt. "You're sure you have no more cigarettes?" "I only had the 1 pack." "Too bad. Maybe if we get back to your bunker, we can find some." Tasso reached up for the light cord. "Good night." "You're going to sleep?" "That's right." The room plunged into darkness. Hendricks got up and made his way past the curtain into the kitchen and stopped rigid. Rudy stood against the wall, his face white and gleaming. His mouth opened and closed, but no sounds came. Klaus stood in front of him, the muzzle of his pistol in Rudy's stomach. Neither of them moved. Klaus, his hand tight around the gun, his features set. Rudy, pale and silent, spread-eagled against the wall. "What?" Hendricks muttered, but Klaus cut him off. "Be quiet, Major. Come over here. Get out your gun." Hendricks drew his pistol. "What is this?" "Cover him." Klaus motioned him forward. "Beside me. Hurry." Rudy moved a little, lowering his arms. He turned to Hendricks, licking his lips. The whites of his eyes shone wildly, sweat dripping from his forehead down his cheeks. He fixed his gaze on Hendricks. "Major, he's gone insane! Stop him!" "What's going on?" Hendricks demanded. Without lowering his pistol, Klaus answered. "Major, remember our discussion? The 3 varieties. We knew about 1 from 3, but we didn't know about 2. At least we didn't know before." Klaus's fingers tightened around the gun butt. "We didn't know before, but we know now." He pressed the trigger. A burst of white heat rolled out of the gun, licking around Rudy. Measure! This is the second variety. Tasso swept the curtain aside. Klaus, what did you do? Klaus turned from the charred form, gradually sinking down the wall onto the floor. The second variety, Tasso. Now we know. We have all three types identified. The danger is less high. Tasso stared past him at the remains of Rudy, at the blackened, smouldering fragments and bits of cloth. You killed him. Him? It's you mean. I was watching. I had a feeling, but I wasn't sure. At least, I wasn't sure before. But this evening, I was certain. Klaus rubbed his pistol butt nervously. Well, looky, don't you understand? Another hour and admit. You were certain? Tasso pushed past him and bent down over the steaming remains on the floor. Her face became hard. Measure thee for yourself. Bones, flesh. Hendricks bent down beside her. The remains were human remains. Seared flesh, charred bone fragments, part of a skull, ligaments, viscera, blood. Blood foaming a pool against the wall. No wheels, Tasso said calmly. She straightened up. No wheels, no piets, no relays, not a claw, not the second variety. You're going to have to be able to explain this. Klaus sat down at the table. All the colour drained suddenly from his face. He put his head in his hands and rocked back and forth. Snap out of it. Tasso's fingers closed over his shoulders. Why did you do it? Why did you kill him? He was frightened, Hendricks said. All this, the whole thing building up around us. Maybe. What then? What do you think? I think he may have had another reason for killing Roddy. A good reason.